Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
Oh my God, are you seeing this shit, bro? Tesla closed at $695. What the hell is going on?
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
Now with IBM getting here, I think it's just going to come more to the forefront, and people are going to get more and more eyeballs on Salesforce. Should see a really nice move.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
We got D's nuts in the crew. Every crew needs D's nuts. You know what D's nuts' number one holding is? Big C.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? Did it not turn on? Oh, there we are. I was like, that's weird. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. Fat Man Zoom, what do we got going on this weekend or this week? I think there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening, and we got stocks we're going to be watching this week.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about inauguration because that's this week, and it's important to discuss how that may impact the market. We're going to talk about a penny stock that came on our radar towards the end of last week. So if you're coming here because of the title, we'll talk about that.
Yep.
That's going to be our number 5 stock. And then we got some earnings to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting now that earnings season has finally kicked off.
I'm super excited for it. I'm always excited for earnings season, but this one in particular, I think there's going to be a really great all-stars and some that we probably haven't really talked about all that much. You know, tech has been at the forefront of all of this over the last couple of quarters now. I think we're going to start seeing some of those recovery stocks, maybe providing some pretty decent outlooks. You know, Delta kind of came out with some earnings and didn't have great earnings by a long shot, but they were at least optimistic. I think we start to see some more of that optimism moving forward. So some of those stocks might start to get some movement, but nevertheless, let me go ahead and welcome some folks here. I know, you got your top 5?
Yeah, I got my top 5. So I got Evan Hunter, team coaching, Walter Toma, Jonathan Schreiber, and Jacob. That's just the name.
Congratulations for winning the prize of not having a life on Sunday.
We appreciate that.
We do appreciate it.
Maybe you were a Browns fan. You had nothing better to do. You needed something to cheer yourself up.
Bro, I thought they were going to come back. It was close. It was close in the third quarter.
Yeah. And they had the whole fourth quarter to win that thing. But, hey, we'll see. Packers all the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
My Packers. I
got to say, though, I'm rooting for the Bills. At least into the Super Bowl. After the Ravens game, obviously the Ravens game was atrocious and sad to watch. But the Bills fans came in and started donating like crazy to Lamar Jackson's charity. They felt bad, I guess, because he got his concussion. And so they're up to $75,000 right now.
They should have been donating to Justin Tucker's charity, let's be honest.
Yeah, I saw Pat McAfee was on Twitter talking about how windy it was and everything. So I guess the Bills kicker too missed 2 field goals as well.
Yeah.
One's a point after. So it must have been just crazy wind up there, man.
Yeah, it's your job, though.
Yeah, it is.
Aaron Rodgers plays in blizzards and still throws 400 yards.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
But, that was a tough one. I would like to see Aaron Rodgers go against Tom Brady. Although I don't care if he goes against Drew Brees, either one's great.
Yeah.
I'd like for him to go against Tom Brady, and then I'd like for him to go against Patrick Mahomes. I do like the Bills. I think next year's their year. But I just would love to see A-Rod against his State Farm buddy, Patrick Mahomes.
That would make a hell of a commercial.
Would be loving it.
Yes, it would be.
But anyways, we digress.
All right, guys. So what do we want to talk about first? You want to talk about our top stocks first, or you want to talk about what it is we think is going to happen in the market overall?
Yeah, let's talk about the overall market. So last week we kind of had some selling off towards the end of the week. Some sectors were down, and there was sort of a question on what caused that, but also I think the big question is what happens this week and what happens with inauguration, which is on Wednesday. And by the way, market's closed tomorrow. So for you all that don't know, holiday tomorrow, so it won't be open until Tuesday. So what happens Tuesday, Wednesday, and then moving forward?
So there's a lot of theories out there, and we talked about this off camera. I was thinking that, we started to see some selling going into the end of the week, and a lot of it, JP Morgan came out with monster numbers on their earnings, and the market reacted in a way that they just sold it all. So, and then there was news that came out about the stimulus. There wasn't really too many surprises there. So then the market sold off. So I'm starting to think that we're going to start to see this pattern. And I'll mention this a little bit later on our top stocks to watch, where you're going to see these monster earnings, but they're going to sell off because we're starting to get a little bit overextended with a lot of this stuff, where it's buying the rumor and then selling the news. It's like people are already expecting these banks, and they were already expecting stimulus, and so once the actual material event came out or was announced, you started to see some selling, and I think that's kind of the theme that we're starting to see. We could see more of that going into this week.
Yeah, I mean, when you really look at it, I'm trying to look at so. We talk a lot about one of the books we have in the studio is like the 5 investing mistakes, and one of the points they make in there is like being careful of confirmation bias.
Yeah,
and I've talked about confirmation bias before, but when you really look at like what's happened and what you bring up to as far as like a forward-looking vessel, the market's a forward-looking vessel. It just feels like last earnings, banks surprised, and they blew it out.
Right.
So Morgan Stanley had a 75% increase over their estimates or outperformance. I want to say Goldman Sachs, which we'll talk about today. Goldman Sachs, it was over 60%. I think it was 61%.
Yep.
It outperformed, which comparatively, they're pretty accurate on their earnings. And they usually, I mean, they typically outperform, but they usually beat by like 25% is a good beat.
Yeah.
Now, you look at Morgan Stanley and then you say, okay, they beat by like 75%. Then this earnings, they beat by 25%. Not for nothing, like it feels like we're back to where we were.
Yeah.
So Morgan Stanley had a 50% run up since the last earnings. Goldman Sachs has ran up over 40%, nearly 50%.
Yeah.
Who are they going to surprise?
Right.
All like, unless they're going to beat by another, 75% to 100%, I think it's going to be hard for any of the banks to do it. And moving forward, it's going to be hard for a lot of these big tech companies to do the same things, especially the stay-at-home plays, because they're not going to be able to perform the same. They're not going to be able to outperform last year as far as from the growth perspective.
Right.
So Zoom, if it outperformed by 330%, 400% year over year, they're not going to be able to perform 400% this year comparatively to last year. It's just not feasible.
This type of growth isn't sustainable. You know? So there's got to be some sort of, I guess, peak and then perhaps plateau, which I think might end up being the situation where we could just kind of see some sideways movement. I don't think that there's going to be an extreme sell-off, but I think there's going to be something to where it's like, okay, it's time to just take profits at some point. And so I think we'll start to see some of that this week.
Yeah, I think we'll see it. The question in my mind is this something that lasts a quarter and then we recalibrate? Or does this last throughout the whole year? Because keep in mind, these earnings are comparative to before COVID.
Right.
It won't be until Q2 where we start seeing year over year. I think it's just one quarter. I think it's only going to last one quarter because as long as they forecast, because they should forecast conservatively. And then if we can get back to beating and outperforming the forecast, I think it'll be okay. So we're both bullish on the market.
Absolutely.
I just think there needs to be some reckoning on some stocks. Zoom's the best example. Zoom had to cool off, had to go down. Now, hopefully, this is the bull run. I think that's a very similar situation that other stocks are going to find themselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's interesting you bring up Zoom because Zoom is kind of like that almost early pullback. It pulled back, 40, almost 50%. So I think that is probably an early indicator of what some of the other ones might do.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that. But overall, we're still very bullish on Zoom, which is why we bought a ton of it over the last couple of weeks. And so feel really good about that. And, the market overall is still very bullish on. This just might be a week where we might see some choppiness, and it might be indicative of what is to come for earnings season.
Now, regarding the inauguration, I know some people have talked about how do you think that impacts the market? Do you think that Wednesday leading up or after there's going to be any impact on the market?
I think it depends. I think it depends on, if there's any kind of reaction, it'll be more of an emotional reaction, similar to some of the things we've seen before from from Trump to whatever president was speaking at the time, whatever words they end up saying, if it makes them feel bullish about something, they might talk about foreign affairs, whatever that, could cause the market to move. I don't think it's going to be anything that's crazy, but we could certainly see some movement depending on what ends up happening. We have some, obviously people are worried about what might happen on inauguration day based off of what happened at the Capitol. So there's definitely that concern there, but I think all of it's more or less just going to be a temporary movement, if anything.
Yeah, I think this is a time to lean on the stocks you believe in, lean on the blue chip stocks, the reliable stocks, spec stock. I think you just keep an eye on the technicals, and I would be careful with spec stocks personally, because if there is a move, I'd rather be in Apple if there's a move down than in some random company. So not that I have a problem with it, and I'm certain I'll be in some specs, but I'm going to keep it tight. I have
my fair share of specs now in my portfolio, but I agree with you.
Yeah, so we'll see. That all should be good. You want to get into the top 5 stocks?
Let's do it.
All right, hit it off.
All right, so the top 5 stocks that we are watching this week. If you guys are new to the show, first of all, welcome. There's 402 people watching concurrently right now, so thanks for watching. Thanks for taking your time to hang out with us. And we have 81 likes. If we could get those thumbs up, I don't know. We'll get the trend on that. That's still pretty weak, but thanks for those of you who liked. If you can continue to like that, appreciate it. So just to preface this is a watch list. It's not a buy or sell list. It's just a watch, wait, and see. Yeah. And for me, this is a pure example of this, which is Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs reports earnings on Tuesday. Remember, we're closed on Monday, so they report earnings on Tuesday pre-market. Their estimated earnings per share are at $7.47, which is huge for Goldman Sachs. I mean, that is a giant number. I actually think they come in and beat this. I think they come in at $7.92. Which isn't a crazy beat, but I still think that they beat. Personally, though, I don't know if I'd be buying this before pre-market earnings, and I don't know if I would be buying it after either. The thing of it is kind of to what we were talking about earlier. I think the expectation here is already so high that it would be almost nearly impossible to see this go any higher unless they come out with something absolutely crazy, some crazy numbers. And there is a possibility for this. Goldman Sachs is an investment bank, so it's not your traditional like Bank of America or even JP Morgan to a certain extent. They make most of their money off of investments. November, December, monster months at the end of 2020. Yeah. So this could really impact their quarter. So we could see huge numbers out of them, but it might not matter because the expectation is already there. I still like Goldman Sachs, but I think that waiting after earnings and looking for some sort of pullback is probably the move here.
Yeah, I would agree. I have it actually higher. I have it at 926, so I do have them beating.
Yeah.
Which historically they beat, like I said, about 20-25%. So that's a 25% beat. Yeah. Last quarter they had 898. So, and they typically perform better quarter over quarter from Q3 to Q4. So we'll see. Although the caveat to that is you could say the last quarter there was more cash on hand, more people were trading. There's just a lot of other variables. Whereas towards the end of the year, there were a lot more lots more question marks that maybe would give people pause to invest money. So there's an argument either way. Although I feel like they probably built that into their estimates. So I do expect above $9 a share. I agree with you, but again, it's made a huge move. There's got to be some profit taking.
Yeah. So I think and from that perspective, that's the play that I think that we both would probably be taking on Goldman Sachs instead of getting in before earnings. I think it's much more of a gamble there. Remember, we're always trying to find the best risk versus reward. And I think this situation is probably after.
Oh,
I pushed the wrong button. Sorry. So for this. Oh, yeah, there we go. For this, for Goldman Sachs, if we come down here at 294, 295 area, that to me seems to make the most sense. So if the reaction that we're expecting out of Goldman Sachs does end up happening, then I think that that area there around 294, 295 seems like a reasonable area. If it doesn't even hold that spot, then perhaps maybe around 275 could be the next area that I would consider getting in Goldman Sachs and kind of buying on that overreaction type dip.
And speaking of overreaction, my number 2 stock is AMD. I believe that the move down has been an overreaction. So if you don't know, Intel, previous stock watch, on the Chaos watch list member, Intel just hired a new CEO, and the market was excited about it. And I am glad the market was excited about it. And I do feel like this was a good thing for Intel. However, AMD had a move down, and I don't think it's reasonable.
No.
I think that this is a huge dip buy opportunity. It could go down further, but the further it goes down, the more confident I get, because nothing has changed with this stock. Let me be clear. Intel could gain back its mojo, but not this quarter, not next quarter, not this year, right? So hopefully in the future, but they've got a lot of catching up to do. And so a new CEO, that takes time to implement change and figure out the direction they're going in. Intel actually reports earnings this week. So I expect AMD to probably make a move depending on what the CEO says. And I'm sure the CEO is going to say all the right things. I believe it's Tuesday that their earnings are. Yeah, after hours on Thursday. Sorry. So I'd probably wait till Friday. But depending on the move on Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe establish a starter. But on Friday, if it goes down further, I'm probably going to get into this.
I said that AMD last week was a screaming buy at $90 a share. So, I mean, closing at 88.21 and coming down to 87.95, I think would even be more of a reason to buy this thing. So I agree with you 100%. We go back and look on this chart as well. We're starting to get to a point to where we could potentially see a support level, maybe around 88. But if we look at this and if it can't hold that area, then perhaps around $85 a share. I would almost pray that this comes back down to the low 80s, because then I would be tempted to grab this up as well. I love AMD. Nothing has changed fundamentally with this stock, and they've created such a gap between them and Intel that it isn't even funny. So I think this is definitely a really good opportunity to be scooping up AMD.
Yeah, absolutely. Esperanza, I'm not sure what you're saying, but I can see the chart just fine. Let me know if anybody else is having the issue. All right, what do you got next?
For me, it is Netflix. Now, Netflix has earnings on Tuesday as well. These are after hours. Estimated earnings per share is at $1.38. I think they miss. I think they miss it by and come in at $1.27. Okay. So my biggest reason for this is because of some of the moves that we've seen from Roku, and we just saw Discovery Plus ended up rolling out their streaming services. They're coming out of the woodwork, and I think that the walls may be starting to close in on Netflix a little bit. Now, am I saying that Netflix isn't still king in this space? No. Am I saying that they're going away and that they're in danger of losing their entire business? No. But I think that some of these bigger streaming services that are moving into the market could make an impact on their earnings, especially with some of the numbers that we've seen coming from Disney Plus. So, I think that the opportunity here on Netflix is probably going to be after earnings as well. Not sure if I want to be holding these before earnings, because I think the risk there is a little bit too great than waiting to watch to see what happens after earnings come out on Tuesday.
I have them beating. There's a lot of issues I have with Netflix. I have them beating $1.80. They've missed 3 earnings in a row.
Yeah.
I feel like when you look at their numbers and their projections, I think they lowered the bar. So I feel like they know they've got to beat earnings. So I don't have as much confidence that they'll miss, but I do think that it's going to be an underwhelming earnings call. Yeah, I told you I hated the fact that they have a co-CEO. They added another CEO.
Yeah.
We know in business, we talk about business, you have to have one person holding the vision. I don't understand 2 CEOs. Yeah. It's like the 2 quarterback system. Like figure out whoever your leader is and run with that leader. If you're bringing in another CEO, that means that the original one isn't doing something. And I'm sorry, they either do it or just get rid of them.
Right.
I think that's a horrible move, and I think that's only going to cause issues moving forward in the future, unless they're trying to roll off their CEO and get rid of it, and this is an easy transition to do it. But that to me was a huge red flag. They've got a lot of people, a lot of companies that are competing with market share, and don't sleep on HBO Max, man. I've said it. I don't think they're going to be the long-term winner, but I think they're making inroads on the short term. So I think it's going to be a couple bumpy quarters. I think it's going to be a tough year for Netflix overall.
I do too, and this is one of my bold predictions. I said that Disney was going to overtake Netflix in subscribers, and I think that's a super realistic possibility that could happen in 2021. So for this, if you guys are looking for opportunities on this one, if they do end up missing, when they do miss, or even when earnings come out for Netflix, of course, they're always volatile no matter what stock it is, but Netflix in particular does get really volatile after earnings. So this could end up being a pretty steep drop off if they end up missing. If I would venture to say this could come back down into the 460s if that ends up happening. Yeah. We can take a look here at the chart. I've already had this marked off. This 463 area I've had marked off for months on Netflix. I think that there's a very good possibility it could come back down to there if they do end up missing. Be interesting to see what happens with this one.
The number 4 stock is one that you love and and that is Penn. Let me tell you something about Penn.
that you don't already know.
So you people, what do you mean you people? What movie is that from? What do you mean you people? I know we'll have somebody in there. All right, so for those in the Chaos crew, that I oversee the long-term investing portfolio, and I've been trying really hard to get Penn in. I've been trying to be as patient as possible, and it's really hard because you've had it in the short-term portfolio. But Penn is now at a point technically that I love it, and I think it's time to get in. And I think Tuesday's the day. So to back it up, last week, Thursday and Friday, really all the gaming stocks had pulled back.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at a stock, I think that's promising because it means that it's not independent. Like I'm not worried about Penn coming out with something, an issue. So below that $100, I love it. I think it's a buy. It can come down. Absolutely, but this is the long-term portfolio.
Right.
I don't even need to see it bounce. If I can get under $100, I'm scaling in under $100. I think Tuesday we hear the gaming news from Michigan, so that's why I want to get in right away. And not that it matters for Penn, but what is going on with the Barstool Fund and the impact that Dave Portnoy is having.
Yeah, man.
Socially, and that's such a important sort of piece right now of really Wall Street is like when your boards are looking at your shareholders are looking at what you're doing. They recently did an article. I saw an article I think on CNBC where they talked about compensation for CEOs and how Tim Cook's has a new sort of compensation plan, bonus plan, where part of his salary is now based on like not corporate social responsibility, but like social impact.
Yeah.
Right. There's a word for it. I can't think of it right now, but that's on the forefront. It's beyond what you do as a company. It's sort of what you do as leadership.
Yep.
And Dave Portnoy is leading the charge, and that dude is a game changer. Mm-hmm. And when you think about CEOs that have influence, that have impact, he's right up there with the likes of Elon Musk. And I mean, who else? I don't know. So that's kind of Mark Cuban, like where people follow. And it sounds crazy to put them in the same sentence.
It does sound crazy.
I believe it. Like what he's doing is changing at least our country.
What's attracting people these days to the markets are disruptors. And what bigger disruptor are we seeing in the stock market in the times that we're living in, especially from the business side of things, than Dave Portnoy? What's the Barstool Fund up to? 27 million now?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Just unbelievable. So, obviously there's the philanthropic side, but from the value side and what value that actually comes into that business, how much money is actually coming in will be insane. And we've said this from the start, that there is no competitive advantage that any of these other sports betting companies have that when it comes to the stoolies, that culture that they've been able to build. So I think that I agree 100%. Anything under $100 is still going to be a value for this. I think, I see a couple of people that are worried about, how high this has run up. But I think that the reason this has gone up so much higher than some of the other ones is because of the points that we're bringing up. Also, when you look at this, I don't think it's too high. I think it's definitely a healthy pullback, but I don't think buying up here just under $100 a share will be too high for you to get in. Only because, when you look at the way that betting, gambling is going to be impacted in 2021 and moving forward with the acceptance of this going across so many other states now. And I just think that this is going to only expand. It's only going to bring more value to something like Penn. And you could also lump DraftKings and stuff like that in there. Obviously, Penn National is our favorite. I love this one. Anything else to add?
Well, I just wanted to say sort of a sleeper on the Barstool side is how I don't understand. I know why some people are off put by him because he's kind of a bro, but really when you look at him, I don't really understand what the knock against him is. Don't sleep on the podcast side either.
Yeah.
Like, don't sleep on that because, again, what's going to pay off? They play the long game. You got companies like Spotify just throwing money at people.
Yeah.
But what Penn's doing is giving people ownership. They're doing literally what's in the best interest of these people.
Yep.
The business obviously benefits, but they're not trying to squeeze every dollar out of them and try to screw them over like a lot of other businesses do. I think you're going to see this year a lot of creators and podcasters move over to Penn, and if that happens and it creates a whole nother that creates a whole nother revenue stream through advertising for that Penn benefits.
Yep.
Watch out because nobody's even thinking about that.
Right. Well, and did you see that Portnoy is kind of holding out or calling out Sirius?
No.
Oh man, it's been their contract's up for renewal, and he's like, I'm just as big as Stern.
Yeah.
And so, obviously Stern's been the staple of that station, but if they lose Barstool Sports, and he's basically has been threatening, we're done. Unless Erica comes up with something else, which is your CEO, that I'm done. I'm done with Sirius. So he's playing hardball with them. I mean, they'd be stupid, but just to that end, that kind of influence that Barstool and what Dave has, it's just incredible, which helps out Penn National immensely. Speaking of Penn, Barstool also just came out with a article about why nobody's talking about Jack Ma being missing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just on
Free
Twitter.
Jack Ma.
I just wanted to make sure that we got that in there. But we put that on Twitter just yesterday. So, still no word about where he is these days.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just chilling. Show your face, Jack Ma. Release him, Chinese government.
All right. So the fifth and final stock that I'm talking about today that is on the watch list that I actually bought in a bunch of this actually, and I think it's going to pay off immensely, is FRSX. Mark Cuban is heavily invested into Foresight, and I think this is going to be a really great stock to own. Now, just to put this into perspective, it is very, very speculative still. But there are a lot of good things going on with FRSX from just what they have in the books. So they just came out with news just last week that they are doing a pilot program with a quote unquote leader in Japan, automotive leader in Japan. So it's going to be who? Do you know the three leaders in Japan, automotive leaders?
No.
Nissan, Honda, and Toyota.
Okay.
So my hunch is that it's Toyota. They've talked about Toyota in the past before on some of the research that I've been doing. So my hunch is Toyota. If it's Toyota, that would be massive.
Yeah.
But what they end up actually doing, they build cameras. That's the main thing that they do is they build these sensors and cameras for autonomous driving, autonomous vehicles. So their pilot with Toyota is going to be huge, I think. They also have plenty of other clients and customers from all over the globe. It's rumored, still haven't been able to confirm this. If anybody has an article that's confirming this, please let me know. But I've been finding a lot of chatter about them actually selling their product to be put onto the Cybertruck for Tesla, which would, again, be huge. This is a huge mover. So, again, Mark Cuban's into this. They are based out of Israel, which, if you guys know anything about Israel and tech, they are just on it over there. So, again, super speculative. But if, the manufacturer, especially with the pilot programs and some of the other stuff that they have going on, is absolutely insane. I think that this could be one of those. We've seen these EV type stocks just go absolutely insane in recent months. This could be the next one that ends up moving up. So if I'm looking at this, I ended up getting an average of around 750. I got this on my other accounts as well. That's kind of how bullish I feel about this. I think we see a huge move on this. This has only started to get some really good volume just recently. So again, take this for what you will. It's a penny stock, technically, just over a penny stock, I should say. If it was under $5, it would be what the definition classifies as a penny stock. But we're close enough to that. I think the FRSX is going to be something that we'll end up talking about well into this year.
Yeah, EVs, people are going wild about, and there's got to be sort of like a stopping point where it's like, okay, enough is enough with EVs. Who's the next Tesla? Yeah. Tesla's best in class. Tesla's the one for me. I'm okay. Maybe if you go for the sort of who you think the next man up is.
Yeah.
But other than that, I wouldn't waste my time on any other EVs. So now how do you capitalize off of the boom? And it's companies like this, companies that doesn't matter who wins the race, they will be a part of any of them. So like we talked about NVIDIA's a great opportunity because they're best in class in what they do, but they're also in autonomous driving, and so they could play a key role in it. Finding companies that will benefit the likes of Tesla that are $7.82 a share, I think that's the way to go. If you just don't want to spend the money on Tesla, which I want to spend the money on Tesla, but I get it. I understand. So this is a good one. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and just to add to that, so they have a bunch of other stuff going on, but one of the things that sets them apart from some of the other ones, MVIS is another one that's in this space too, which I don't have any problem with. I think that one's going to be a good one too. But what sets them apart is that their technology also works really well in bad weather, dark, rainy conditions, all that kind of stuff. So that's really what's attracting them to a lot of these manufacturers. And it's not just manufacturers, automotive manufacturers, but parts companies as well, like Bosch and the like. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a good one. We've already seen some really strong movement out of this going the end of December and to the beginning of January. I think we're just starting to see the movement on this one.
Yeah, Jeff said tangent play. That's what I'm looking for. Tangent play. Yeah. Yes, it's a tangent play. Primetime DJs asked about a stock that made a cut. But first, I want to ask, what is your cheesecloth condom stock pick of the week?
My cheesecloth condom stock pick, this was a tough one because it was a toss-up between the two. But I'm going to go with GameStop.
Oh, wait. You didn't tell me that.
Look at your text.
Oh, did you tell me that?
Yeah. I originally went with CCIV. And
then prime time, that was for you.
Yeah,
it did
so
make the cut.
CCIV did make the cut for the Triple C stock of the week.
Okay.
But then you actually ended up bringing up GameStop, and you're like, I thought for sure you were going to do that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do GameStop because this is ridiculous. So if you look at the chart here, it's gone absolutely insane, which, by the way, if you got into this and played the short squeeze perfectly, I ain't mad at you for it. But if you're the person who bought it up at $43.06, what are you thinking? Mm-hmm. I mean, this stock, the company isn't going anywhere. They have loads of debt. They were in danger of bankruptcy. That could still very much be on the table. GameStop has not really done very well on pivoting their business to really kind of move their way into the digital space. You know, you and I play Xbox all the time. We play Call of Duty together. You know, you look at the Microsoft store, that's literally taking the place of GameStop.
Yeah.
So I don't know how GameStop survives longer term. If you guys bought this above $30 a share, look out. You're going to be in trouble once this finally comes crashing down because the squeeze is just about over, if not already.
There is not a bone in my body that wants to be in GameStop over earnings.
No, God, no.
So that is it. That's a wrap. Our top 5 stocks for the week.
Yeah. So just wanted to shout out BNGO. Was not the Triple C stock last week, was it? Was it BNGO was last week?
I don't remember offhand.
Either way, it ran up and then dropped 50%. So, no, it wasn't. Now it's moved up. So you're fine. If you bought the dip, cool. But I said it was going to drop, and it did.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you guys like those top 5 stocks, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We haven't told you about the Chaos Crew. Why don't you give them a little rundown real quick?
Yeah. So we got a lot of people in here that have the Bears, the Bulls next to their names. If you guys see them and they're highlighted in green, at least it looks like it's green on mine. If you guys see those folks, they are part of the Chaos Crew. They support this channel to no end, which we cannot be more grateful for, but we also give them something in return. We give them a daily watch list every day, just kind of what's moving in the market, what we think might do well, and maybe some things to stay away from if you're hyped up on some crazy stock. But we also share our portfolios in there. We also do private live streams. All that good stuff comes with the Chaos Crew for $4.99 a month. It's great. If you guys want to be part of that, click the join button next to subscribe, or the link is in the description as well. We're trying to work out. Do you want to talk about our website that we're building now? Can people sign up through there now too?
Yeah. So if you go to ownthechaos.com, scroll down, and you click join, there's a button to join the Chaos Crew. You can now join online, and we have news. We are now doing alerts. And our community will start this week, so we'll be having a Discord community. You have to sign up online to do that, and we're gonna raise the price. We haven't talked about this. We did say we'd raise the price.
Yep.
We didn't say the date. So I'm thinking we give them a month.
Yeah, that's plenty of time.
So if you're in the Chaos Crew level 2, you got to get over, and we're gonna give you a month before the price raises. So we want to give everybody time to get over. We don't want anybody to have to pay more than they're currently paying. If you're in level 1 and you want to get over, now's the time to do it. Yep. So go to onthechaos.com, scroll down to join, and then it'll give you level 1, level 2, level 3, and then you'll be able to get the current pricing for the next month.
So just to be clear, this is just people who are in level 2 that want to get the alerts, so they'd have to come over to the...
Yeah, level 1 can, but really you're going to lose your bulls and your bears.
Yeah.
So you can. I know some people, honestly, just want to give us the full amount. They don't want YouTube to take a cut.
Yeah.
We're fine
YouTube
with
takes
you
a ton of it, by the way.
Yeah, we're fine with you staying there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's really about level 2, and it's about getting into Discord. So you can't get into Discord without giving us your email.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay there, but get in contact with us. So yeah, I'm really excited about the community getting into Discord. I know people have been asking about that a lot. And I'm really excited about the alerts. Guys, we get it done. It's taken a little bit of time, but we wanted to make sure it's right. We've already had some people signing up, so it's been cool.
Yeah, so just to be clear, I have some people. They don't have to leave the YouTube side of things. So you don't have to leave the YouTube side of things, but you still have to go over to our website and let us know that you want to be in the Discord, and we'll get you in there. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's really about level 2. If you guys are in level 2 or interested in level 2, you have to go through the site, and we're gonna phase it out whenever we whenever we up the price, we're going to phase it out because we can't do level 2 on YouTube. It just doesn't allow us to do that.
It makes it tough to post and everything. And I know some of you guys in level 2 have had some, suggestions and stuff like that. And we're just so limited on YouTube with it. So
yeah. So Manjur Kareem asks, what is the main difference between level 1 and level 2? So level 2 is, you'll get the alerts now. So you get the trade alerts whenever Brad makes a trade, buys or sells in the public portfolio. You'll get an alert when I make a trade in the long-term public portfolio, and then you'll also get the alerts and you'll get actually his portfolio. So he'll send that out as well
every day. You get an update on my portfolio.
Yeah, so that's what you get in it. You'll get basically access to the trades real time when he does it. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, another big announcement. We are now going to make the watch list public for everybody.
Yes.
So level 1 gets the watch list, but we're going to add supports and resistances. But for anybody that subscribes to our mailing list, so again, if you go to ownthechaos.com and join, it says you're not ready for the Chaos Crew. You can just get the watch list. Go there. It's all over the site where to get on the watch list. Anybody's going to get the watch list. Everybody's going to get the watch list. But then level 1 is going to get supports and resistances. And our thought process behind that, to be honest, this was a hard decision for us to make. We deliberated on it a lot, but we just felt at the end of the day, anybody can give 5 stocks. It is what it is. We want to get the information out there. Really what matters is supports, resistances, and alerts.
Yeah.
Like when we're trading things, when we're getting in and out of things. So we hope you guys understand. We're trying to make the decisions the best we can. But our thought was if you leave because all you wanted was a watch list, then we weren't providing much value beyond that, because you're not going to get the live streams and if you're just Like level 1, you still get the private live streams. You're going to get supports and resistances. So we felt the trade-off was a lot more with what we're adding to it.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's what we got.
If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at onlychaos.com. Send us an email. We'll be happy to clear anything up in case anything was confusing.
What are the chances that we forget to put supports and resistances on Tuesday?
It's going to be a learning curve. So that's probably a 50-50. I'm calling it 50-50.
Shout out to SoundCloud for the donation. Appreciate it.
And we do actually have a new Chaos crew member as well.
Raymond Quesada.
Welcome to level 2. All right. So
That was an upgrade.
that was an upgrade.
Yep.
Made the upgrade. Thanks, Raymond. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, he's a red bear. Cool. All right. So questions. What we got?
All right, now we're going to go to the Q&A portion. You guys ask your questions. Give us context. Let us know as many details as you have, the due diligence you have done. The one thing I just want to point out, because I don't remember who it was. I got lost. Sorry, Steve Ames. If you are in the mentorship, that's level 3, and you get everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the above.
Somebody said something about like somewhere along the lines of like you're smoking crack or why you hating or something like that. And it probably was in jest. But I do want to point out when we have these conversations,
Yeah.
when we say something you don't like, one, you should appreciate that because you should always be looking for the other side of the argument. You shouldn't be just like looking for positive affirmation. You should always be looking for what am I missing, what am I missing? Because if you have the other information, then you could say, okay, here are the pros, here are the cons. What decision am I going with? So rather than like be bummed out when we don't feel the same sentiments as you doesn't mean we're right.
Yeah.
You should more say, okay, why do they think that way? And let me try to understand that. So that's just, I just wanted to point that out because I feel like a lot of people just look for us to tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
All right. What's your gamer tag? Ask Rob.
It's on the Chaos.
Mine's Fat Man Zoo. Bonjour, Kareem. I like that name. How are your thoughts on Discovery? DISCA. Is that really a ticker? I thought tickers can only be 4. As a future competitor of Netflix or Disney Plus.
There it is. Well, so if they're foreign, then they can be.
Oh, they have the added.
Yeah. What was his reasoning behind this one?
How do you think about them as a competitor to Netflix and Disney Plus?
I think there's probably better choices other than this one. You talked about HBO. Mm-hmm. There's so many other contenders. Here's one thing that I didn't even bring up when I was talking about Netflix. You want to hedge against all of these? Go buy Roku.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and then you're good. That's it. So, I mean, I know Roku is at a really high price, but there's a reason for that, and it's going higher, I think. So,
yeah, I would agree. It gets on. I mean, it's like in I don't want to say in all the new TVs, but they just got a built-in sort of situation that works for them.
It gives you the opportunity to have multiple streaming services, and you pay. You don't have to pay full price for all of them. You get a nice little bundle, so it's good.
Steve Ames, no, you don't need to pay for level 2 on YouTube if you already pay for level 3. Nope.
You're good.
You will not get the Bears, though. That's the only thing you're going to miss out on.
Yeah.
Which depends on how you feel. Don Sackey, shout out, upgraded to level 2. Next question, Siri Silva. Could you live in a house with somebody named Siri? That's got to be hella frustrating with the iPhone.
Well, I don't care because I don't have any Apple products.
Hey, Siri.
But if I had
not that that's the first time Siri's heard that. I'm sure Siri.
If I was dating an Alexa, that would probably be a problem.
Yeah. Not you, Alexa. They got to have some sort of hack for that.
Well, you could change it to Echo, but that's boring.
Oh. Can you look at SRPT drop 50%? There's a potential. Siri, not to call you out, but just a little. What?
Did your phone go off?
No, not yet. Okay. Hey Siri, just to call you.
Take it off.
You can't see it. Not to call you out, but what potential is there? You're really not giving me much context.
Yeah.
So by saying there is a potential, where's the due diligence on that? Sorry, I'm just trying to use you as an example. Don't mean to call you out, but go ahead.
So there was a SolarWinds hack. I guess there was a hack here. I don't know. But it doesn't look great. I will say that. I don't know much about the company, if I'm honest. But JP Morgan seems to be really bullish on it, and they've there's a lot of headlines here about them defending them. So, I mean, if JP Morgan's still bullish on this, I would say that there's probably a pretty stark overreaction considering it came from 181 highs and now sitting at $90.32. If anything else, you could probably play the overreaction here on this extreme gap down. So, yes, I'd say that there's probably some upside here. The risk versus reward's probably pretty good. You got some upside to at least $120 a share. Not saying it's going to get there, but just based off of the chart, I actually think it looks pretty good to the bull side.
Team coaching. Okay, can we talk about MITI? I made money. I'm so happy, but what is it? If it is what I think it is, I feel like it should be worth so much more. Help me understand it. I'm not sure what that question is.
Say what now?
Yeah, I don't know that question.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Team, if you want to like clarify what do you mean by that? What is it? What is what? That'd be helpful. Andre, what are your thoughts on a tech sell-off? How likely is it to happen as we knew already for weeks who's going to be the new president?
You know, it's interesting. It depends on what sector of tech you're talking about. If it's social media, I still think it's a bumpy ride. If it's something, like a Zoom, for example, I think that Zoom's going to do really well. I think it just depends on what area of tech you're talking about. So, and I just got headline news about Twitter suspending another elected member of Congress. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So that could not be good for Twitter on Tuesday. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that it just depends on what area of tech you're talking about.
Brandon Gonzalez-Cottrell, welcome to Level 2.
There we go.
Tommy Robidon, why CCIV for the Triple C stock of the week?
So here's the thing. It's moved up considerably. Now, if the rumors are true about CCIV, awesome. If you guys don't know what the rumor is, it's that CCIV is a SPAC. And we look at the chart. The rumor here for CCIV is that Lucid Motors is going to be merging with CCIV. I have yet to have seen any confirmation that this is for a fact actually happening. There are breadcrumbs that say, yes, maybe there's some rumors, but anybody can spin anything to, we just talked about it. Confirmation bias can spin anything to like make a valid argument that this is actually going to happen. If it doesn't though, and you're the poor sap that bought this at $20 a share, you are in for a rude awakening. And so this is where you get to a point to where there is just too much hype and hysteria on this thing that, it doesn't make any sense for it to be up here just yet.
Yeah.
And CCI, I mean, Churchill Capital has no track record. Like, I don't understand. It's not like a Chamath type of thing,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that just to put it in context, if the news is incorrect and it comes out that the news is incorrect, you're talking about a minimum of a 35% downside if it goes to $12, which is very realistic.
Yeah.
Your floor is probably $10 or right below $10, and now you're talking about over 40%.
Yep.
So is the risk worth the reward? Now, if you hang on to it, eventually that should turn into something, and you could probably get up to 20, but it's going to be a long, bumpy ride. So it's just managing that, and it's already ran. How much is it going to run up? I agree. It's a risk on really no findings.
Well, and you look at how much this has gone up too. What if the rumor is true? How much higher is this going to go if it ends up coming? In the short term, how much higher is this going to go, or is it going to be a sell the news type of situation?
That's true.
The higher this goes, I think that the more likely that'll probably end up happening. So the last thing I would want to do is buy this after it went up over 100% in just a few days' time.
It's a coin flip, and we don't do coin flips. Yeah. We don't do gambles.
Right.
So team coaching clarified a little bit. Trying to figure out the company, MITI. Have never bought anything at 10 cents, and I read up on it. I feel like it should be a lot higher, so try to figure it out. I don't know anything about the company per se.
Yeah.
I mean, we can look at the technicals. I don't know if you know anything, Brad.
Yeah, so I'm actually in MITI. If you guys follow me on Twitter at Own the Chaos, and you're in our level 3, I've been in MITI. I think this is probably a good opportunity. So the leadership that's involved with this now, full disclosure, this is at 21 cents a share. So this is more or less just the high risk here, but. This channel was built on penny stocks. That's how I got started. That's how this channel got started. So I've never really left. And so every once in a while, when I see a good penny stock, I'll shout it out. This is one that I think actually has some really good opportunity just because of the leadership that's involved. There's a lot of leaders the CEO, lots of other leadership in here, all related to the Minute Clinic. They got that started. If you guys remember the Minute Clinic when it got acquired by CVS for $170 million, that's a big deal. Same type of situation here with this. And given the times that we're in, I think this is a really good opportunity. Granted, this is one that's gone absolutely crazy. So this is doubled over the last couple of weeks. So obviously high risk here, buying it all the way up here. I think this at least gets up over $1. So no dilution going on with this one if you guys are familiar with how detrimental that can be to penny stocks. But that's why I like it. It's a really good setup, good leadership, all that good stuff. It's not your typical penny stock.
All right. Next question we have LX Hudson. Is Etsy a buy or a wait?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a wait. It's gone absolutely bonkers, along with a lot of the other e-commerce stocks not named Amazon. And it has pulled back from 221. We look at it here as it closed at 203. I would say if it comes back down to below $200 a share, then maybe I would consider buying it. But I still think it's a bit high at this point.
All right. Next question we have Mike. Thoughts on Adobe? If it's a screaming buy, it's getting hammered, or should we wait till earnings?
It is a screaming buy, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for it to be down here. And I know $458 a share sounds like it's way too high. It's not. I can tell you that I would be looking to scoop this up probably around 445. It seems to be the next area of support that I would look to scoop this up at. But don't discount the fact that it's sitting right around its current support at 458.
Yeah. Alan, I couldn't find the question, but I saw your response, and it's right. Take some off the table and let the rest ride. That's usually our philosophy when you made a ton of money.
Full disclosure, MITI is not going to be found on Robinhood. You can't trade it on Webull. It's going to have to be something that you trade on Ameritrade, Schwab, something like that.
Sion Dingen, what stock did Cuban buy? Just tuned in. What's the ticker?
FRSX. It's Foresight Autonomous.
All right, and there was one other question that somebody just said. Don't remember. Darren Anderson, do you think Drive Shack will take off soon? Some analysts are saying $5 or more by second quarter.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think that Drive Shack benefits from, we talked about how Drive Shack benefited from not just the social distancing side of the Rona, but also it benefits from the recovery. So, you know, I've been looking at this chart and thinking that it's probably bottomed out around here in the mid twos. I was really encouraged to see that it hadn't gone below that. So I think that there's definitely more upside here than there is downside to Drive Shack.
Do you think that's turning into a cup and handle at some point?
It could be. I think I mentioned this a couple of days ago that I thought that we were starting to see a turn from the bottom here on Drive Shack, and I like it here at these levels.
Nikhil Narula upgraded to level 2. Nice. Hope says, speaking of, thanks for the donation.
Hey,
I'm
thanks,
not
Hope.
sure what that meant.
I don't either.
Tony's Trades. ADES. Support and resistances for 445 support, 535 resistance. Desired entry 517, exit 739.
What was the
ADES?
ADES.
Possible swing trade. It's been consolidating, waiting for it to break. EMA. What are your thoughts? So he
First
has
of all,
this,
that was a very detailed question, and that I love that.
So he's looking at getting in at 517 and putting a stop at 498.
517. I like that because of the little spike here. This little right here down at 517.
The wick?
Yes, thank you. God, I was having a crazy brain fart. 534 is probably more of an area that I would probably look at first. But 517, where this candle wick here, and even down here, maybe at 508, those are probably two other areas that I would consider. But obviously, it's a penny stock, so it's going to be pretty volatile more than likely. But I'm really liking that 530, 535 area.
Nice. Awesome. It looks like, and again, we're using, it looks like you read the chart well.
Yeah.
I just like that you have a plan. Yep. And I like how you have the stop loss. I like how you have the take profit. All that stuff's great stuff.
Absolutely.
DL, what service do you use to buy penny stocks without paying a premium per share or commission fee?
Charles Schwab.
Judah Benjamin, UMC is in the semiconductor realm. They have earnings coming early February. They're expected to beat. Company is profitable, went on a run before the dip Friday. What do you think of the chart, UMC?
UMC. I think, man, we're really getting into penny stocks here. I think that UMC is a bit choppy to me, and I'm not crazy about this chart at all. But I would say if you're looking for a potential dip buy, I like it around 790. And if it does end up breaking back up over 964 highs, it probably will continue. But not crazy about this chart at all.
I will say somebody mentioned Amazon. I'm trying to just come off of questions off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned Amazon, how they'll perform after earnings. I feel really confident about Amazon. Amazon has been kind of just sitting right above, that 3,000, 3,200.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to go above 3,400, 35 and make its way to 4K. I have the utmost of confidence in Amazon. Somebody also mentioned Facebook. Brad did mention it's choppy, but we're both bullish on it. It's sitting right around 250. It's at 251 now. I've been waiting for it to get around here. I think it's going to be tough for the short term, but this is a great long-term ad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
Semiconductors they're all going to do really well, but yeah, I would just be careful with this chart.
44 All-Star said there's an insane amount of support for GME and Daddy Cohen. There's an incredible amount of support until there ain't. And that's the problem. Is like
fundamentals will catch up with this thing.
Yeah, that's the thing is hype is great. And I'm cool if you're doing a momentum play, whatever. But to Brad's point about getting stuck in this, like you still got to deliver for shareholders.
Yeah.
And it's still an uphill battle, and you're in something that's dying, and that sounds great if you want to change, but that's going to take time to make those changes. So there's a lot more headwinds than there are tailwinds. And if you're telling me new leadership is a tailwind, like that's not enough.
No.
Like that's I don't know. I don't mind it if the stock is beaten down, but if it's made the move, like what for?
Yeah.
So that's
do yourself a favor and just read the balance sheet.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of debt that they have is insane.
Don't be the last one. Like, don't fall into that trap where somebody tells you like, oh man, I got into GameStop and it's up 30%. And then you think you're going to get in, you're going to hold the bag.
Yeah.
They're going to sell you their shares.
Right.
That is the biggest mistake everybody makes. And it's so frustrating to see it happen time and time again. And it's just because I feel for you guys. Like,
yeah.
Why? You sit here and you'll buy shit like GameStop and shit like Hertz and shit like Nikola, but you're afraid to buy one share of Tesla. Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'd rather have a one of something than like 100 of nothing, because that's where it's going to end. It's going to be tough.
I freaking love it.
I'm fired up.
That was awesome.
I'm fired up on this Sunday.
I get a lot of people also asking about this crash during inauguration. I don't think there's a crash. I mean, first of all, trying to predict a crash, I mean,
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm still going to be to the bull side no matter what. I think I understand where this is coming from, because I don't know if you've been paying attention to YouTube, but there's been a lot of influencers talking about an upcoming crash, and I think a lot of times they just use it for views.
It's clickbait.
But I think what we try to do is try to be different and not really. We talk about crashes on this channel sometimes, but we rarely try to put it in our titles or anything like that unless we honestly feel like something's happening. But if you think that anybody on YouTube can accurately predict a crash, then I got another thing for you. They have coming for you. They have no idea what they're talking about. They really just don't. You cannot predict the next crash. You just can't. And I would much rather be in the market than be missing out on a lot of these gains that are more than likely going to happen than a crash will.
Yeah.
Buy the effing dip, baby.
Font says, how long does it take you to answer back your emails? I try to answer them back within, ideally 24 hours, but
Yes.
I'd like to do 48 hours. I'll be honest with you. There are a backlog of my emails. So if I haven't gotten back to you, I'm getting away this week and I'm going to take care of all of them. Really, just with trying to get this Discord set up and trying to get the bot launched. Last week was a tough one. So my apologies. It sounds like you sent an email to me, but I will get it. I will get back to you. Yeah, damn, I was fired up for a second, SoundCloud, but I'm good. I'm good now.
That was awesome.
But I am excited this week for Clover. I think I made a really good play at the end of the week. I scooped it up, and I got
did
it.
too.
Nice.
I did too.
So it popped right at the end of the day. I think Clover's going to be my big win this
The
week.
sell-off on Clover was a joke.
It was a joke.
So, I mean, that's what we do. I mean, we chase the red zone, baby.
Red zone. If you guys don't know, while you guys are scrambling, when things turn red, we're scooping up your shares.
That's right.
And our crew is too. Our crew is really good. We get our brown bears sort of like up to speed. And once you become a black bear, red bear, and beyond, we are so cool on red days when everything's selling off and everybody's freaking out. Our Discord is just chill. It's like, oh man, what did we buy? What did we get? Like, so excited.
Yep.
Shout out to Gary Ann. Thanks for the donation. BFZ stock by Inbred. Don't know what that means.
Me either.
All right. I think you had a question for me.
Me?
Yeah, didn't you have a question you wanted to ask me? No, we didn't talk about Lamar yet.
No. I don't remember what the question was. I going to ask
You know what else I'm excited about? I want to know, well, you're going to ask me about which earnings I'm most excited about.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Hey, Fat Man Zoom, which earnings are you most excited about this quarter?
So I told you to, and I changed my mind on what it is. Peloton's the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I think people are still underestimating it, and I think there's still, it's like Zoom. Like, it's still high. Like, it's definitely like, it hasn't had the sell-off that Zoom has, and I think it will have a sell-off after earnings for sure. But I still think people are underestimating the community, and I did a Peloton ride this morning. And just the way they cultivate the community by like being able to have group ride with your friends, or if somebody's riding, you can see everybody riding now. Like you can like give them a high five. You can connect with them. You can favorite them.
Right.
How they connect with Spotify. Bro, if there's a song I like on there, I just like it. It'll automatically go to my Spotify and show up on a playlist.
No shit.
Like the social aspect of it, the sort of like the way it connects in your ecosystem, they nailed it. Connects with Bluetooth. Like there's so many things that I love, like just sold me even more on it.
Yeah.
This is more than just a bike. And we've talked about this, but this is going to be crazy. I think we're going to see some even more insane numbers this quarter. And it's looking strong for this community.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to Penn.
Yeah, Penn's going to be great.
I mean, I just think it's going to be awesome. And I think that the outlook, especially with the comeback, the vaccine and all that good stuff, they got so many tailwinds on Penn that I think it's going to be great.
Michigan people.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, brother.
That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. I don't remember how many we had. I think it was somewhere around 500. So for the 500 of you guys who hung around, and if you've been watching since the beginning, you're a real one. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like button on the way out the door. Also, if you want to be part of the Chaos Crew, make sure you're hitting that join button next to subscribe as well. We will see you guys sometime this week. We'll see you Tuesday.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Free Jack Ma. Free Jack Ma.
Do it now.
Come on, people.